Welcome to Toffee TV. It is the player ratings. Brentford 1, Everton 0. Another hugely poor performance by Everton. And Everton once again fail to not only win a game of football, but take anything from a game of football. 2 months since their last win, and it's getting all a little bit real, isn't it now? It's getting all a little bit real in terms of the table and the performances and everything else going on at the football club. Which, as long as there's a big shiny stadium getting built, no one seems to give a flying about at Everton Football Club by the looks of it. Let's get into it. Jordan Pickford, he had a decent game, Jordan. Didn't have to make too many saves, made a couple of crucial interceptions. His kicking was good. I think it was Roy Keane discussing it, saying, should he have done better with the punch that led to the penalty? I think for him today, there was definitely clear instructions for him to come out and take everything. And I think he just got hands on everything he could today. So I don't know whether actually he could have done any more with that punch. Although you would like to see him clear it out the box, and get it away. But it definitely felt like it was being left to him to deal with everything in the air, because we know they throw a lot in for throw-ins and set pieces. So it definitely felt like he was in charge of that situation today. So I've give him a 6.5. Seamus Coleman. Listen, Seamus Coleman as a modern right back is done as far as I'm concerned. It takes him 3 touches to get the ball under control. His crossing was just abysmal today, just abysmal. He got into some really good areas in that second half, and his crossing was just so poor. I don't know, just whipping in front of players with pace, not behind players. Don't just stand it up in the air for defenders to head it away. Get it in low on the floor with a bit of pace, and let's see what happens. I've given him a 5. Defensively he was fine, but going forward he was just absolutely garbage. And that whole right hand side today I thought was crap, and it didn't really improve till Gray got on the pitch. But it was just, everything was just really poor. There was loads of space out there, especially second half. Loads of space out there as well. So I'll give him a 5. Luca Dean on the other side, again defensively, fine. But again, going forward, had a little bit more joy. He's the kind of player who comes, he crosses from the outside, doesn't he? So he's always just trying to get it in the box. But a lot of the time, again, no real finesse, just trying to get it in the box. He did get forward a little bit more today, which was good to see. He was a little bit closer to Anthony Gordon. So I've given him a 6. As I said, he was a little bit better today, but he had not, I'll be honest, neither had anything against him. Anything against him. Michael Keane, I've given Michael Keane a 6.5. I thought Michael Keane was fine today. I think he dealt with everything that defensively. He didn't have, defence today wasn't really the problem, apart from one silly mistake. Under the first half we come under a little bit of pressure, but Keane dealt with it, and he was actually stepping out of defence today, trying to play some balls into the midfield or over the top. So he was fine, Michael Keane today. They didn't really do anything wrong. He won his tussle most of the day. Really, they didn't really get away from us too much, which makes it even worse, because I think individually, I think we did win a lot of our battles today, but we couldn't convert that into opportunities. So I've given him a 6.5. Ben Godfrey the same. I've given him a 6. Again, won most of his tussles, but his passing is garbage. His passing is just so bad. It lets him down so often. It really does let him down. But defensively, he was fine. As I said, the defence was fine today. That's the worst thing. We've been beaten 1-0, where they just haven't done anything apart from win a penalty and have a couple of half opportunities. We haven't had, defensively, we haven't had to do anything today. But once they got the goal, you could just see the confidence draining out of us. So I've given Ben Godfrey a 6. Alan, I've given a 5 purely because the amount of times he just gives away possession. He just seems to give away possession all the time. Unnecessary. He just seems to give it away for no reason all the time. And he's good at breaking up the play, but it's just when you need to build and get forward, he just seems to play a half a pass that's under hit and allows the opposition to take the ball off him. It's so frustrating. You're a seasoned professional. You've played international football for Brazil. How hard is it to just get a pass right? But how hard is it to get it wrong that many times? Very, very poor in that department. Ultimately, when he has the ball and he's driving forward or he's breaking up play, he's fine. But I think in a game like this, when you're looking for that little bit of creativity, you've got to have players who can just pass the ball 5 yards and maybe just pass it to someone who's better than them. And that's the most frustrating thing. It really is. I've given him a 5. Abdoulaye Doucouré. I thought it was a good, solid return for Doucouré today. One absolute fantastic defensive run where he, stopped their player from going round the goalkeeper or getting a shot off. There was little bits of attacking football from him breaking forward. Of course, it wasn't always going to be there today from him. But there was little times when, he was a little bit short and he did under it passes. But you can understand why. He's been out for over a month. But he was, again, though, for him to come back and probably be our best player is just... it's just mad. It's mad. But he probably was our man of the match, so I'm going to give him 6.6. So he's just a little bit better than Michael Keane. Now, it was at least he's back and he's in the side, and that's encouraging, and he can hopefully start making things happen in that midfield and breaking forward. But I still think we need another player in there. I still think we needed a. I felt like we needed Delphin there today and not Iwobi. So we could have Doucouré could maybe break free with a little bit more, with less pressure on him to get back. Although he does like to get around the pitch, but anyway, moving on to Iwobi. Played him in the number 10 role and it doesn't work. He's not got a heart. He doesn't care. He flits on the edge of games. He doesn't make chances. I wouldn't mind if he made a few chances, but he doesn't. He doesn't really have any shots. He's got no craft about him. Everything's very obvious. He gets himself into some good positions, but it's all a little bit just when he gets there. Can I be arsed? He hides a lot of the game as well. I just don't think he's a very good footballer. I don't think he suits Everton at all. I think we need someone in there who's a grafter, who'll push on, who'll run, who'll close people down. He offers nothing for me. He'll probably go somewhere and he'll be the main player and he'll be fine. But for us, he doesn't fit. He's never fitted the club. He doesn't fit the system. He's not prepared to work hard enough. And he's just not good enough. I've given him a 3. Anthony Gordon started really bright first half. Really, really bright. Created one really good chance just after they'd scored, which Rondon saved. And I really did feel like if anything was going to happen in the first half, it was going to come from him. But unfortunately, he looked like he tired second half, and it all just started becoming a little bit sloppy. There was the one where the ball got kicked over to him, and I think he let it go out for just let it go off the pitch between. I think it was him and Iwobi, was it? He looked tired second half. He looked like he'd run out of steam, but very promising first half. I'd like to see him just do a little bit more though. Get some shots off. You know, if the space opens up, just have a crack. See what happens. You don't always have to get it into the forward. You can just have a crack. Have a swing of your right foot and see what happens. You know, he used to do that all the time for the under-23s. He's got the technical ability, but it's the step up, obviously. But I'll give him a 6. I thought he tied second half, but his first half performance I thought was very promising. But again, he's a young lad. The manager actually said, didn't he, a few weeks ago that he wasn't fit for 90 minutes, really. And I think today, as I said, second half, I thought he'd become very sloppy. But I'll give him a 6 because I thought first half he was good. Andros Townsend, crap. He was crap, wasn't he? He was just crap. Just didn't play very well at all. His deliveries were just very poor. They were just hitting hopes. Never really put any craft to it. Again, I talk about craft and creativity and finesse. We just don't seem to have players who have that. And today I just thought everything was overhit. And obviously he gave the penalty away, which was stupid thing to do, raising your boot in the box. It only has to touch the player goes down and it's a penalty. That's a simple fact. That is a simple fact. You know, I know I've seen a couple of people complaining about the penalty. He kicked him in the face in the box. It's a penalty. Doesn't matter whether the lad was putting his head down or not. You raise your boot and you catch somebody, it's a penalty. And that's the end. That's the top and bottom of it. And I don't think he really escaped that. I don't think he really shook that off at all. So I'm going to give him a 3 as well. I just thought he was, as I said, it was a very probably his worst performance in an Everton shirt. Very, very disappointing. And then there's Rondon. Oddly enough, I actually thought this was probably Rondon's best game in an Everton shirt. I thought he had a couple of real good opportunities. One, the keeper saved. A couple he blocked. I think he should have had a penalty, personally. I think he was getting held. I think his problem is he just has no movement. He has no movement. He just stands still. And it makes it very, very easy to mark him in the box. So when crosses are getting zipped in and you want someone on the move sliding in like Dominic Calvin, tapping merchant, imagine having a tapping merchant in our team now. But he's got no movement, and you don't get many opportunities if you can't move to pin a defender and spin them. He tried to do it a couple of times, and he couldn't. The keeper made a good save. He probably should have actually scored. But again, he's just swung a big axe at it, hasn't he? But it's his movement that's the problem. He has no movement. So it makes him really easy to mark. Makes him really easy to mark. And ultimately that's in the Premier League. You can't have that. And yeah, I'm flabbergasted how the manager did not throw on another another striker to put pressure on their defenders in the last few minutes. I really am flabbergasted by that. Flabbergasted by it. So, but he's been poor. He's been very poor, Rondon. Sadly, but we're in a position where we don't have our main two strikers. Obviously Dom's still injured and Richarlison is suspended. Will be back for Wednesday, of course. But no, if you can't move, you're never going to score goals in the Premier League. So give Rondon, what did I give him? 3. Damari Gay, I thought Damari Gay was good when he came on, actually. For a player that was supposed to be out for 6 weeks, I thought he was good. He was direct. He ran at them. He caused them problems. He whipped balls into that corridor of uncertainty, as they say, which I don't understand why Seamus Coleman wasn't doing it, but he did, and there's no one there. There's no one, like I was just saying, some of the movement. There's no one there to tap it in because there's no movement in the box. That's what Dominic Calvert-Lewin offers us. Richarlison, for all the talk of being a striker, hasn't done that this season. But Gray was good when he came, and he'll start. Hopefully that means he'll start on Wednesday, and hopefully having him back in the starting lineup and having the Corey back and having Richarlison back might give us a little bit of a lift. I mean, I wish it was against someone who I actually felt confident we could beat. But we've got to, they are players that might help us sort the problem out. And the problem is we can't score goals. That's ultimately the problem, isn't it? The problem is we can't score goals. We don't score goals. We started off the season scoring goals. We're not scoring goals. The last time we scored a goal was against Wolves, I think. We're not scoring goals. But, the question has to be, why didn't the manager bring on another player? Even if it was for the last 5 minutes, why didn't he bring on another centre forward? Ellis Sims, throw him in the box, and then maybe something will drop. Maybe one of those crosses, he'll put pressure on someone. I don't get that. I'll never get that. I understand why you don't start Ellis Sims. Lad doesn't kick the ball in the Premier League. He's not exactly tearing it up in the 23 levels, but he is on the bench. He is sitting there, and he is sitting. He's sitting on the bench, looking at us getting beat 1-0 in the last minute, and you think, why aren't we throwing on a player with 5 minutes to go and just see what happens? What's the worst of what would have happened? They would have scored another goal. So what? We got beat 1-0. What, are we looking at our goal difference or something? Nonsense. I don't get that at all. I do not get that from any manager anywhere in the world, why you wouldn't send a forward on who you've got on your bench for the last 5 minutes. If we were getting beat 1-0 today and Rondon was on the bench, would he have thrown Rondon on? Yes, he would have thrown Rondon on. Of course he would. So what's the difference? What's the difference in throwing a kid on and just saying, right, I'm taking off Allen and we're just gonna start pumping it into the box. What's the difference? I don't get that at all. I don't get that style of management. I don't get that style of management where you're so negative that you're not even prepared to do that. And that negativity, that kind of negativity, we're not going to sneak games. We're not going to win 1-0 because we're not scoring. So no, not good. No, that's not good enough from the manager. That simply isn't good enough from the manager when you're not bringing on players. So no, Calvert-Lewin is injured. That's why he's not playing. Dominic Calvert-Lewin is injured. People and their conspiracy theories, they really do make me laugh. Dominic Calvert-Lewin's sitting in the stand watching, dying to get onto the pitch to try and maybe tap in one of those crosses from Gray. So there you have it. Another very, very poor performance as far as I'm concerned. I'm not asked about whether the manager thinks they give it. The fans can't complain. Yes, they can complain. Of course, they can complain. Just being beat by a very, very poor Brentford side. Fans have just got up at 5 o'clock in the morning to travel down on a cold, freezing cold day where the conditions around the country are terrible. Of course they can. They're watching a team sleepwalk towards relegation zone. Of course they can complain. They've got every right to complain. Fans have got every right to complain about this team, this manager, this board, this owner. They've got a right to complain about every single thing of what's going on at this football club. and they should complain. And the more vocal we are as a fan base, maybe someone will start realising how terrible this football club is. And maybe somebody will do something about it. Because at the moment, nobody's doing anything about it, because they just point at the stadium. There ain't gonna be a stadium if Everton were to be relegated. There ain't gonna be a stadium. There's gonna be a very, very fancy car park on the waterfront. If Everton were to get relegated, there would not be a stadium. No one in their right mind would build a stadium. Would spend 500 million on a stadium. There would be a very, very fancy car park, very nice car park for the Titanic Hotel. That's what they'd be. So somebody at that club needs to inject a little bit of reality and a little bit of intensity into that football club. But before we get ourselves into a situation where we are not needing points, but we are desperate for points. And you know what? It happens very quickly, because you have games so quickly in December. Before you know, you've already played half the season. And before you know, you've already played more than half the season. Oh, do me a favour. Stop going on about Dominic Calvert-Lewin and adverts. Jesus Christ, you haven't got a clue. So stop talking like you have got a clue. Gee, Dominic Calvert-Lewin's got a right to do whatever he wants. If he wants to make adverts, he'll make adverts. Why would he make adverts? Because he's one of the best known players in the country now. So stop talking nonsense and conspiracy theories. Jesus Christ, have we not got enough to worry about without stupid conspiracy theories? Jesus, absolute bollocks. There you go. We need someone needs to inject motivation into this team. Of course, it can be a car park. Once it's flat, it'd be a Bosch car park. £3. Walk to the city centre. Amazing. Best car park in the city centre. Just get it flat. Just get it nice and flat. And there you go. You got a nice car park, haven't you? There you go. Make sure to check out Baz's reactions. We'll be doing the final word tomorrow on Patreon. Check it out if you can. If you want to listen to us complain some more. I don't know. Make sure you check that out. Give this video a like. Subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you later.